Hi guys, welcome back to another episode of the Storytime Society. I'm your host Jamie and I'm so happy you're here. I'm so glad you're alive. Thank you so much for tuning in to another episode. The theme of this episode is relationship drama. I have my coffee here. I'm almost done with it and my tummy's starting to hurt a little bit. I don't know why. It's a chocolate chip cookie dough latte, but we're going to get straight into the first story. The title of the first story is Best friend, 23 female, got too drunk and tried to sleep with me, 31 male. How should I handle this in the morning? Every year, my uni mates and I, 31 male, spend a few days at my mate's family's summer house. They've been bringing their respective girlfriends and wives the past few years, but this year I've decided to bring my best friend, 23 female, along. For the past several months, we've had a heavy flirtation going on, but we're just friends. I think you can tell where this is going. We got in today after a long train and we started drinking with my mates. We all started watching a movie and over the course of the movie, my BFF and I went from sitting to holding hands to cuddling. And then when we got up to go to bed, we had to share a bed, but we've slept together platonically before and it was no big deal. It became obvious how drunk she was. She could barely walk down the hall. She was tripping and falling so much I had to help her walk. We got to the bedroom and she starts hitting on me. She's nibbling my ear, fiddling with my belt, and trying to pull my shirt off. We're both laughing at this point because it's still fully hitting me exactly what's happening. And then she asks in this very giggly, slurred, drunk way, "Do you want to F me?" The answer to that is yes, I do want to F her, well and often. But she was far too drunk to give consent. I told her that she was drunk, but she kept taking my shirt off and having a hard time at it. I told her we were going to go to sleep and she should get ready for bed. I went to the bathroom and jerked off. I am human after all. And when I got back, she was in her underwear, struggling to get a shirt on. I helped her and then got into bed. She started coming on to me again, kind of grasping and fumbling and trying to nibble at my neck. So said, "Let's just lie here for a while." So she cuddled up to me and pretty quickly she fell asleep. I've never been in a situation like this. I've never had a romantic situation, if you can even call it that, with a friend. And I've never had to deal with a girl this drunk. I don't know if I should bring it up or not, but my natural inclination is to let sleeping dogs lie, and in the morning, after she gets sick, if she asks, I'll tell the truth, but probably won't bring it up. So, I don't know if that's the right course of action, however. Reddit, what do you think I should do in the morning? Oh, wait, kind of love him for that. Love him for being like, yes, I want to, but she definitely cannot give consent with how drunk she was, because, like, this is, honestly, I feel like this is definitely applauding a fish for swimming, but not a lot of guys would say no just because a girl is drunk. Like, the amount of times that would have saved me in a situation, that would have been great, you know? Like, if someone would have done that with me, but they didn't, and not gonna fault them for that, but sometimes I would question, like, that was crazy because I don't even remember that. So I can't even imagine how drunk I was acting, looking, being, and yeah, I don't know, but thank God for him actually being, like, considerate of that. I also do think that he should bring it up with her. Like, why not? Because, I mean, she might remember, like, little snippets of the night and be embarrassed, and I think it would be probably less embarrassing for her to know that, like, you did want to, and it's not that you were, like, you know, grossed out by her or anything, but you just didn't want to take advantage of her because she was so drunk. And I think that she would probably respect you for that and just be like, oh, thank you so much for that, honestly. Because whether or not she still feels the same way, she'll feel better knowing that, like, she wasn't just being crazy and, like, throwing herself at you and feeling embarrassed about it, because you know that anxiety can get you the next day. Even if you don't do anything wrong, sometimes I'll just be making shit up in my head. I'm like, oh my God, what did I say? What did I do? What if I did this? What if I, like, was naked in the middle of a Whole Foods? Like, I'll literally make shit up like that in my head if I don't remember snippets of the night. And I'll just be like, the craziest thing happened, probably, I bet. All right, this is update one day later. She's asleep again, so I have time to update. It's been a crazy day, but Reddit was super helpful. This morning when she woke up, she was immediately sick. I brought some tea to the loo for her where she was being sick. Her memory was hazy, but she remembered something went down. She asked if we did anything, and I was honest. I told her no, but that she tried. She asked me why I didn't go for it, and I said it was because she was too drunk, and I didn't know if that was really what she wanted. She thanked me for it, but the conversation didn't go much farther at that moment because she was still sick, and everyone else was getting ready to go out. When she was feeling better, we went about our day as planned, which didn't provide much opportunity to talk. End of the day, when we got back from the pub, but neither she nor I drank. We didn't get a quiet moment from everyone until later that night, getting munchies in the kitchen. I decided to bring it up again, so I asked her if I should just write last night off as a drunk mistake or if that was what she really wanted. She tried to avoid the question, but I pressed it until she said something generic about booze being liquid courage. She did thank me for being a gentleman and not taking advantage of her, and I told her that no matter how turned on I was or how much I adored her, I would never take advantage of her, and that our friendship was more important than a night of drunk sex. We started talking about our relationship, what exactly we were. We got to a point in the conversation where I simply said that she was beautiful, intelligent, kind, and would make someone very happy. She would make me very happy. We both leaned in and kissed. It was a great effing kiss, like a hauntingly great kiss, but it didn't go very far because my mate's wife walked drunk into the kitchen. We split apart, and then she decided to go upstairs and take a shower, and she told me she would see me up there. This is where I F up. My mate came in too, and he and his wife started pretty brutally fighting. They're at the point that they're getting a divorce. My mate was in pretty bad shape, so I calmed him down and talked to him for a while. I mean, my good mate is getting a divorce, so of course I talked to him as long as he needed. For a really, really long while. Like, when I finally got up to bed, she was already asleep. I poked at her a little to wake her up, but this girl is a super heavy sleeper. When she's out, she's out. So, I've made lots of progress, and yet I'm pretty much in the same exact place that I was last night. And if I know her well, and I certainly do, she's going to avoid talking about it on the train, so I won't be able to talk to her until we get home. Hopefully I'll manage some sort of game plan on the train as to what the F to say to her or do. Somehow, I'm even more nervous about talking to her about what happened tonight than I was about talking to her about what happened last night. Well, I think you need to stop being so nervous. Easier said than done, but like, just tell her what happened. Be like, hey, I'm so sorry. Like, last night after you went up to get ready and go to bed, blah, blah, blah came in and they were fighting. And so we talked a long while about like, to make sure that he was okay. I mean, I think that's pretty, like, as you should. You shouldn't ignore your friend when he's in a hard time just so that you can go get laid. Like, that's, I would expect you to be a good friend and not be like, dude, like, I'll talk to you later, I gotta go. Because I want you to be a good friend. Like, if I'm gonna potentially date you or think about anything going romantically or anything, like, I want you to be a good person first and foremost. I don't want you to care more about getting your dickiana wet. This commenter said, okay, so let me get this straight. She likes you, you like her. She admitted to you that she wants to have sex with you, but needed to get drunk to admit it. Regardless of the mate's divorce thing, good of you, by the way. Well done actually being a good friend in that situation. You have a girl in your bed who wants to be there, and you're waiting for a silent train home before having a chat. After today's talk and today's kiss, you do realize that she was waiting for you to join her in bed, and then you didn't. I know your friend's problems had to be dealt with. Right now, she doesn't. She waited for you, you never showed up, and now you're going to force an awkward train home together on her. You go to bed right now. You be there when she wakes up, and you kiss her as soon as you can. If you want her, let her know that. Don't torture the girl. She's already embarrassed. Don't make it worse for her. So true. Because especially if she's going to wake up the next morning, she's going to be like, oh my God, we kissed, and then we were going to like, I feel like I thought something was going to happen, and then he never showed. Like, that's so embarrassing. She does not know the context of what happened and what you were doing to not show up. Like, she might have just thought, oh, like, he probably doesn't want this or whatever, so I'm just gonna go to bed. So just talk to her. Like, hello? You're 31. Mind you, 23 and 31. 23 is pretty young, I would say. Like, it is verging on that, like, I don't know, 31 is a very different time in your life than 23 is. So that's something that is in the back of my head right now. But putting that aside, you're 31 years old. Like, can you just communicate a little bit? you can just talk to someone about something. It's not that big of a deal. I don't know why he's like freaking out. Like, oh, she's not going to want to talk about it at the train, so I need to wait and then I'll have to talk to her about it. Like, dude, just, you're 31 years old. Just speak. Okay, this is the final update 2 days later. Long story short, my best friend and I are with my mates at their summer house. She got way too drunk and tried to hit on me. We woke up spooning, and I kissed her first off and apologized about not showing up. Tried to explain the situation with my mate. She said she heard the fighting and tried to stay awake, but she fell asleep. She did say she was wondering where I was, so I just said I was here now. Kissed again, but didn't have much time since we needed to catch our train. The train was horrible. There were all sorts of delays, and we pretty much spent the whole damn day on that train. She wasn't as talkative as I would expect, but it wasn't that awkward. We held hands, I put my arm around her, she rested her head on me, etc. We got to the train station, and it was already dark. We drove back to my house, where she had left her bike in my backyard. We were complaining about the train, trying to be casual. We started talking about where we were, and talked about whether or not we were at risk of ruining our friendship, or if we should just take a chance. I told her I'm in love with her. She told me she's in love with me too. We kissed, we embraced, we made love. We cuddled. Love is wonderful. What? The way that this started out, it's like, yeah, we're best friends. And now he's like, I told her I'm in love with her. And she said she's in love with me. Like, huh? Okay. Period, I guess. Like, I really wonder where they're at now. I mean, this was in 2012, which I just realized, like, that's literally so long ago. That was the first year of high school. That was when I started high school, my freshman year of high school. That's so crazy to think about. But I wonder, I'm sure they're not together. Honestly, I doubt they're together, but like, The top comment says 2 whole paragraphs about logistics and transport issues, then a couple of sentences. Oh yeah, we both confessed our love and then effed. That was like reading a Patrick O'Brien novel. This says, by the comments, we're in the before age gap discourse area. The signs are usually there in the age gap issue threads. Older man dating a younger woman because he's controlling and she doesn't have good boundaries. I just don't see that here. Yeah, but regardless, like, it's still something that I think about. Even if it's not a situation like that, I still think, like, okay, 31 and 23 is kind of crazy. And, like, also, how are you best friends with someone at, like, you're 31 and your best friend is 23? I'm like, that's kind of crazy. This person said, I don't really mind the age difference, but I do find it odd that a 23-year-old and a 31-year-old are BFFs. And OP happily refers to her as best friend and BFF while he actively wants to sleep with her and sounds like he always has, and this was not suddenly prompted by her making a move. Doesn't really read as BFF to me. Right, that's what I was thinking too. Like, when you think BFF, you're not thinking like potentially I'm gonna hook up with you or like take you as a date when all of my all of my best friends are bringing their wives. I don't know. It's just giving. Like, I have a best friend that's a guy, a male best friend, and we've been best friends since I was in like 8th grade. He's like a couple years older than me, but so, and we like have I've been best friends with him through all of his relationships, like so many of his relationships, and I honestly, like, he's definitely actually, yeah, he did come and visit me when I was dating my ex, and that was crazy because he got really drunk, and I guess he was like, which he's straight, but I guess he was like hitting on my ex, and this is just gonna like tell you who my ex-boyfriend was. Like, it wasn't like anything uncomfortable. He was just being like silly. He was drunk, and like, yeah, my ex was like, oh my God, he was like hitting on me, and he was like my ex was being so weird and annoying about it. And I was like, okay, well, he was being like rude about it. I don't even know how to explain it. It was so long ago. I barely even remember what happened. I just remember it being a whole situation. And like, that was the first time that my best friend had met my boyfriend at the time. But like, I would have chosen my best friend over him a million times over. We broke up like every day. I've told you guys 1.5 million times how many times we broke up. And yeah, I just remember that being a whole situation. And I just know that my best friend was like embarrassed because he was really drunk that night. But yeah, I was like, okay. But I love my best friend. Like, we never had any type of like, we were gonna hook up or we were gonna be. There was maybe like I can't even call it like anything romantic. We never were romantic. I think that it was like one time when he slept with one of my close friends and I was like kind of annoyed about it, but I didn't know why I was annoyed about it. I think it was just like so random, and I don't know. I really didn't have feelings for him, but I think I was just like confused or something. And I was like, okay, period. Like, he was sleeping at my house that night, and then I was sleeping in my room. He was sleeping in my guest room, and then my close friend came over and she went in that room, and then they ended up like hooking up and sleeping together. And then the next day I was like, wait, and I was like pissed off for some reason, and I don't know why, but hey, I was like a sophomore in high school. I don't know. Feelings are crazy at that age, you know? But it's actually crazy. I've been best friends with him for 15 years. Okay, here's the title of the next story. It says, my circumcision went horribly wrong many years ago. Parents received settlement. Now I'm 18 and they're refusing to give me the money. All right, so as a result, I have part of my penis removed, including the entire tip. I know the hospital did settle with my parents. They always told me that the money is invested for my future. I'm 18 now. I want to use this for my education this year, but they haven't given me any details. They keep telling me that it's too soon and they will do it in due time. Is there a way for me to find out where the money is and access it? And was the money required to be put somewhere safe for me, or could it be that my parents spent it and are just buying time with me? Seattle, Washington. That's where he's at. Ooh, that's rough, because it's giving the parents spent it. And that's crazy because you deserve that money. I would sue them. I don't know if you can, but if anyone is saying that, if anyone responds that and they like know that you can sue them, I would 100% sue them, because that is the most traumatic situation ever. Also, I didn't know that was like a circumstance of circumcision. I didn't know that you could get your literal have your penis cut off. That's so scary. I wonder, like, if that's the risk of getting circumcision later in life rather than, like, when you're born. Or I wonder if babies even have that issue. If that's happened, I'm sure it's happened. I'm sure something has gone wrong. But, like, I wonder how common that is. I highly doubt it's that common. I've not heard that many, like, honestly. But I don't know how many times I'm talking to someone about circumcision. So I don't know why I would expect to be hearing about that. This person said 90% of the time when parents are shifty about something like this, the money has been gone for 10 years. I'd prepare yourself for that possibility. That's not to say your parents necessarily did anything illegal. Even in a custodial account, your parents are allowed to spend that money on things that benefit you. Education expenses, private lessons, new clothing for you, even prorated portions of their rent. They can't waste the money on fine wines and couples massages, but if they spent the money in ways that benefited you, it's not outright illegal. Your first hope at tracking it down is the IRS. If it's in an interest-bearing account in your name, then the financial provider will have to be producing 1099s in your name. OP said, okay, this is helpful. Do I need to go down to an IRS office, or can I track this down over the phone, or do I need a lawyer to do this for me? This person said, Washington lawyer here. There must have been a minor settlement case filed. The money was supposed to go into a blocked account to avoid the exact thing that happened to you. It's not your parents' money, it's yours. If it was handled properly, then there is a lawyer or a law firm out there who is responsible. If you go to the clerk of the court, you can get the details and then start looking for malpractice attorney to help you. I'm sorry this happened. It wasn't supposed to be money for your parents to squander. Period, King. All right, I didn't realize how short this damn post was, but this is the update and it's 3 days later. I talked to my parents. Turns out that they used the money to buy the house that we live in and start the business that my dad runs. My dad showed me that I have ownership of the business as well relative to the amount that my money was invested in. He said he will start paying me money from the profits, which I will use for education. They said since I'm an only child, all of this money will come to me anyways. I'm happy about all of this. I had prepared myself to hear that the money is gone, but now I feel bad for ever doubting my parents like that. Well, technically it is, and if that business failed, then what would have they done? I'm glad that you're going to get something out of this. I wish I knew how much money it was, though. I really want to know how much money you get for that. Like, I hope that it was a lot. I can't even imagine how much money you need for that to feel, like, right. I mean, it would never feel right, but it's like, how much money would you take? I feel like it would need to be $1 billion. Like, if you cut my literal clitoris off in surgery on accident, give me $1 billion now. Okay, we're gonna move on to the next story. The title is, Am I the asshole for doubting my marriage now that my husband admitted he's broke? I, 40 female, have a son from my previous marriage. After my divorce, I raised him mostly alone since his dad doesn't pay child support. Those years were hard, but I rebuilt my life. I focused on my son and my career, and honestly, I was very happy being single. About 5 years ago, I met my now husband, almost 60 male, through work. He owned his business. I wasn't looking for anything serious, but we clicked immediately. Within a couple of months, he was basically staying at my place all the time and eventually moved in, even though I wasn't comfortable enough. A year later, we were engaged. My son loves him and calls him dad. My family and friends adore him, and he's always been kind and generous with us. We split our expenses in a way that worked for us. We paid rent 50-50. I handled the household bills, and he was in charge of food and entertainment, going out, activities, etc. Not long after moving in, he had to close his business, but he always reassured me that we were financially fine. Because he's near retirement age, I didn't push too hard. I assumed he had savings and things under control. For the last couple of years, he's been mostly a stay-at-home dad while I work full-time. He cooks, cleans, and supports me at home, which I appreciate. But over time, things started to feel different. When we met, he was very active, went to the gym, had friends and hobbies, and now he mostly stays home, watching TV, doesn't exercise anymore, and doesn't really see friends or family. I've tried encouraging him to do things like volunteering, hobbies, or even part-time work just to stay active, but he always brushed it off. We've also stopped going out together much. This year, we've only been on 2 dates, both of which I planned. And then this Monday, he told me he's completely broke. His savings are gone and the remaining money connected to his business are no longer available. What upset me wasn't the money. It was that he never told me things were getting this bad, and now suddenly I'm responsible for everything financially, and our current lifestyle is honestly not something that I can afford alone. I've always been transparent with him about what I can and can't afford. When I told him I was upset, he said he thinks I was fine before because there was money, and now I'm only upset because there isn't. But that's not how I see it. I'm upset because he hid the situation and never really tried to restart the business, find work, or even plan for the future with me, or that I had to carry all by myself. He still hasn't done anything. I'm resolving the situation alone. Also, I have tried to speak with him before about how I was feeling prior to the big bomb, but I feel like he never truly listened to what I had to say. His response always was, "I love you so much. I've never felt like this before. I'm so happy with you. I don't need anyone else or anything else." I told him I want to see him as the partner and man of the house again and not someone who just stays home all day. I appreciate everything he does around the house, but I don't want to feel like I'm his entire world while he has no life of his own. At the same time, I feel guilty for questioning things, and now that he's struggling, am I the asshole for being upset and doubting our situation? I think that it's more about like all the pressure that he's putting on you now, and all of that falls on you, and also about the fact that he wasn't honest with you. Like, withholding that information is the same thing as lying about it. And I'm sure there's been times where she's been like, is everything okay? Is everything? And you've been saying like, yeah, everything's good financially. Like, obviously it wasn't good financially because you're in the hole now. And I do think that it's important that like, she's saying that he's still, I'm assuming that he's still doing everything around the house, but like she's also saying that he just sits around and watches TV a lot and kind of just does nothing, which wouldn't sit right with me, especially if it's something that like you could go out and find a job rather than coming to me and being like, hey, I have no money now. I'm broke and we're in a financial bind and situation. Like, I would expect you to be like going and putting yourself out there trying to find work and then tell me that after, even though you should have told her in the first place because you lied to her, and you definitely should have been honest about that and about what was happening and how your money was dwindling, because obviously there's been all this time to tell her and you haven't told her now until everything's at a zero, like everything, you just sucked all your money dry, and now you're gonna say, hey, so I'm broke. And that's obviously a huge thing. Like, financial infidelity is a thing in a relationship, and it's honestly a huge part of a relationship. Finances are everything. And as much as we want to convince ourselves that money doesn't buy happiness, or just because you have money doesn't mean this, it's honestly all a lie. I truly can't grasp with the fact that that's like a thing. It's like, well, everything isn't about money. Well, yeah, it is actually, because literally to do anything, to be anything, you have to have money in order to get therapy, medication, medical help, things that you want in life, have fun, travel, buy things that, can be fulfilling. Like, it's not like you're, oh my God, I need money to buy a Birkin. No. Hey, I want money to buy a house with land and horses and chickens. That is what's going to make me happy. Okay? And guess what? That's expensive. So, and if I was Kylie Jenner, I could have that times 10. And also, I could be living in multiple different places, having multiple different houses. That's crazy that you're saying money is not everything. Like, money pretty much is everything. It's at the baseline of everything. You need money in order to do so many things. And that's not even just like to buy a car. No, to get mental help, to get medical help, it's crazy. Okay, there's 3 edits. Edit 1, just to be clear, I did ask him several times about the finances, but he always assured me we were okay and he has it covered. I never pushed to see his bank statements, and he was sort of covering his part of the agreement, so I believed in him. I assumed a man his age had it handled without me supervising every cent. Edit 2, financials apart, I miss the partnership. Families go through hard times, but I don't like feeling I have to sort it out myself when I was in the bind all the time. He started as a great team player, and having that support was great. Not the money, the mental and emotional one. But everything changed, and I missed his masculine energy. I've been doing this all by myself all my life. I wanted a partner for support, not to carry him as well. And again, it's not about the money. It's about everything else. Edit 3. We were a couple of months into a serious relationship, but we were together/dating before, so he moved in after the year mark. I was not comfortable. As for me, it was very important that whoever I was going to move in with, because of my son, it was someone with a serious plan and looking for a long-lasting relationship, not just try and hit sort of thing. Before we got married, we signed a prenup, as I have been clear that all I have is for my son and I don't want to jeopardize that. He was married before, has 4 kids, all adults now. He left the house to the ex-wife. He moved out and was looking at his own place when we started getting serious, and that's why he said better to live in with me and get our own place together. Yes, I've met the ex-wife and all the kids. We were actually quite close and they were so nice. The ex or kids never said anything weird. On the contrary, I noticed he was providing for them as well. This person said, moved a man in and let him get close to your son, but wasn't comfortable asking about his business. OP said, I did ask over and over, and he always gave me half responses or assured everything was covered. But unfortunately, that's not enough. If he's giving half responses and giving all this bull BS answers, I would be like, okay, well, let's sit down and go over finances and be super transparent about what we have, what kind of debt you have, what kind of debt I have. I think that's so important, especially before getting seriously involved with someone that you think you're going to marry, because I need to know what I am about to bear by becoming legally binded to you. What kind of debt do you have? Are you paying it off? Do you have credit card debt, student loans? What do you have put away for retirement, Roth IRA, savings? Do you have a check? Do you have money in your checkings account? Or what's going on here? And I don't think that that's even a crazy thing to ask at all. I actually don't think anything is wrong with that. You're not being a jerk, you're not being a gold digger. It's just part of what I feel comes with being in a serious relationship that is going to lead to marriage, or especially because you have a son, that would be just a big enough reason for me to be I need to see where everything is. And you can see where everything is with me, and we can get it sorted out together so that I'm in the know and you're in the know. This says OP on being her husband's retirement plan and wanting someone to help take care of her kid financially too. OP said, you're sort of right. I didn't need someone to help me take care of my kid financially, but I do believe in a partnership and wanted that team to build a home and a relationship where we both do our best for the best of the family. That's why I didn't want him to move in initially. as I believe once you take that step is because you're willing to commit forever, especially after kids. He did show that commitment. He loves me so much that his world closed and only sees through my eyes, which is too much weight for me to carry. Yeah, that's way too much weight for you to carry. No one should be putting all the pressure and all their entire world onto their partner. That's extremely unhealthy and nothing good is going to come of that. Okay, this is 9 days later, March 23rd, 2026. Update. Hi everyone, I have a quick update. I'm so grateful for all the comments, but I couldn't reply to everyone, so I'll provide some context and an update. I'm surprised by the number of comments, but I appreciate the advice. I take responsibility for my own decisions, or lack thereof. To clarify a few things, we have a joint account where he was transferring his share. However, we agreed to keep our finances separate. I didn't want him to know my financial situation or to manage my money, which I've been through. So I asked about his finances respectfully, and he provided as agreed. After all the comments, I decided to have a serious conversation with him and requested proof of several discrepancies. He got upset at first, but I stood my ground. It was either that or a breakup. We've only been married a few months, and I'm not going to carry a dead weight. He's having issues with the IRS because his brother stole his identity and opened businesses in other states. There are other serious problems too, and I spoke with a lawyer, an accountant, and 2 exes of the brother. The brother is a lost cause. I was upset because I told him I needed him to start fixing the problem, not just wait. He got upset when we met with the lawyer and accountant to create a plan. That's when I told him I couldn't continue with him on those terms. I understand he's going through a tough time, and I'm here to support him, but I can't take over his problems while he sits around. Either he takes responsibility and gets things done, or I'm leaving. It's not the money that bothers me. It's his attitude. Yes, I understand the age difference and that it's normal for a stay-at-home dad to be responsible for household chores. However, this wasn't ever agreed upon. I never wanted a stay-at-home husband, and as I mentioned to him, I feel played. He pretended to be the kind of man that I've always wanted. Interesting, independent, intelligent, high masculine energy, and respectful. But he ended up being the complete opposite. He's very respectful, and we have an amazing relationship, but I'm feeling suffocated. So I gave him a month to find a job or a solution for our financial situation. He needs to return to the gym or a sport and a hobby, make some friends, and have a life. I need to be able to spend time with my son, myself, and my friends without him. I'm also ensuring with the lawyer that the situation doesn't affect me or my son. I'll keep you posted to see if he actually did it or this is completely over. Okay, period. Period. That's terrible. The whole stealing identity thing, like, it's especially when it's your brother, because like I can imagine that's a pretty easy thing to do. I could easily be like, hey mom, what's my brother's social security number, and then like I know all of the information about him. I'm sure I could do the same exact thing. That's insane to me and so scary. And it's like, why is it so easy to steal someone's identity or to like break into someone's, like, someone used all my information to apply for a fucking credit card, for multiple credit cards actually. I had to like freeze everything, and it's been like that for the past like 6 months because I'm not even giving that a chance to happen. I got so scared. I was like, oh, what the hell is this? Like, all of a sudden I have a credit check on my account, and I'm like, what? This random ass bank I've never heard of is trying to like, and I called and they were like, oh yeah, like you applied for a credit card here. I'm like, girl, no, I didn't. And then they literally used all my information, and then like they put a different email or something, and I'm like, hello? How do they know all my information? Like, am I supposed to keep my birthday a secret? That's crazy. That's actually crazy. And also I feel like we need something that is more of like a secret and harder to access, because clearly the social security number isn't that hard to find. I don't know how you find it, but like obviously other people know how, and it's so ridiculous and so annoying. And my stepdad, actually, someone legit took out a student loan in his name, but like, and used it on school and everything, but like they couldn't do anything about it, which is crazy. He had to figure out how to sort the situation out. It took him like 2 years to figure out, and I don't even know how what he ended up doing. And the fact that they can't even find that person and like prosecute them or anything, or like do anything about the situation that is actually gonna get him justice for that is crazy. Because like, oh yeah, just take out a $20,000 student loan in someone's name. Ridiculous. And someone please give me advice on how to protect me from getting my identity stolen. Like, it's actually one of my biggest fears. I'm so scared of that. This person commented, high masculine energy, ? With a rolling eye emoji. Honestly, I was feeling the same exact way. I just get like really cringed out when people say like, I need a man with high masculine energy, or like I need a woman that is like a real woman with high feminine energy, or like that. I don't even know. I'm sorry. It just like stresses me out. I'm like, okay. And then she commented back, yes, a real man. Sorry, I hate that. I hate it. Responsible, grounded, decisive, protective. I've been taking control all my life and in relationships because man just turned into big babies, and I'll end up handling and manhunt everything at home. I wanted a man that could handle things so I could disconnect and try to have some rest. Girl, I don't think you should be putting that much faith in a man, to be honest. It's kind of crazy. I wanted a man that could handle things. Girl, I think honestly in relationships, it's always that the woman is like the one that handles stuff, which obviously I don't agree with. And I think that it should definitely be more split, because it's always the woman that everything falls on, in my opinion, and based on scenarios in my life. And I've always hated that. It's always like, because the woman is organized. Like for the most part, I feel like in a relationship, it's always the woman planning the wedding, the woman handling the bills, the finances, the woman handling appointments, calendar, like when and where we're going on trips and what time and all of that stuff. And I'm like, that stresses me out, because I never want everything to fall on me. It's fine if sometimes it does, but I need you to get it together. You also have a calendar app like I do, and how I use my calendar app, you can use yours. Like, put stuff in your calendar, dude. It's not that hard. And hello? This person said, when I think about people I know who are responsible, grounded, decisive, and protective, my mom friends are the first to come to my mind. It may be more illuminating to think about people and their characteristics on an individual basis rather than assuming them based on their gender. Looking at old school gender norms, the only high masculine energy marker you identified was that he was active and went to the gym. Meanwhile, he almost immediately moved in with you so you could start taking care of him. Another outdated gender norm. This idea of a real man archetype is not a helpful measurement tool for evaluating individual people, but I suspect you are just throwing out that term to be hurtful to your husband. And then OP responded to that and said, you're absolutely right. I've always been like that, and I simply wanted a partner to share this journey with. To clarify, families face difficult times, unexpected health issues, deaths, bankruptcy, and so on. Financial problems can happen to anyone, and wanting to relax and lead a less active life is understandable. However, his attitude towards things completely put me off. I meant a man with high masculine energy who would face problems head on and find solutions. Instead, he sat and waited, and only told me when he was forced to act, a very poor excuse. I'm simply exhausted from being the only constant fixing everything and everyone. The top comment says, who the F marries someone 20 years older and doesn't even discuss finances? Girl, get an annulment. Who marries someone 20 years older and is not worried that they are the person's retirement plan and nurse/maid/caretaker plan? The concept of a woman who's carrying the household through calling a useless man a woman, right? Wholly unexamined misogyny Batman. Yeah, why not call a useless man? Though he isn't useless in my opinion. A stay-at-home parent isn't useless at all, but he is a liar and a manipulator. If he had been honest about things from the get-go, she could have decided if that matched her life and plans. I probably would not have matched, and she would have chosen not to get married because she isn't interested in having a stay-at-home partner. I know, right? It's like, I didn't even realize, I didn't catch on to that part of her saying a useless man is or a woman. That's crazy to say. Clearly she has some things going on in her brain that are just not it. And I totally agree. Like, that a stay-at-home dad or a stay-at-home parent in general is not useless, and they are doing so much. Like, a stay-at-home parent is doing so much. I feel like we think, oh my God, I don't know. I feel like it's romanticized sometimes, where it's like, oh, you just get to stay at home all day with the kids, or you just get to stay at home. Like, no, because when you have kids and you're at home taking care of the kids all day, there's so much other things that you have to do. He's cleaning, he's cooking, he's doing all these household things. Like, why do you think they have jobs that are legit that? Like, there are maids because it's a job. There are nannies because it's a job to take care. And he works multiple jobs at home. And I don't understand why it's always like, why that's always a thing where it's like the person that's going out and going to work is doing so much more and so much better. Like, I hate that that's always the belief, because that's so not real. And if anything, they're literally the glue holding the entire thing together. Like, yeah, you're going to work. That's also great for you. You're also doing a great thing. You're doing a lot as well. But that couldn't happen if you didn't have him to stay at home and do all of this other stuff. Like, he is taking a lot off your plate by doing that. And I feel like that is also being responsible and grounded and decisive. He's taking care of the household. That's very responsible and grounded, and he has to make decisions all day long. I wish I saw this part where she said that. Like, I'm trying to look and see where it is, where she said that he's a woman because he's a useless man or something. I wonder if she said that in the comments or something that I didn't read, because I feel like that's probably what happened. I don't know. I would love, honestly, if I was the one working and I had my man to be sitting at home cleaning it. Girl, that's my worst nightmare. I hate cooking and cleaning and doing all the household stuff. Like, please, for the love of God, I will work all day long. As long as I'm making enough money to take care of everything, like, I will work all day long. And you can take care of everything at the house. I would love that so much. I mean, it's fine if that's not what you want in life. It's fine if you would rather be that person and you know, but like, you got into this relationship knowing that this was the case. I mean, I guess not, but like, you literally said at this point in the beginning of the story, you were like, he stays at home and cooks and cleans and blah, 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 and takes care of all of the stuff at home, which I appreciate. And then it's like, all of a sudden, you're like, actually, I don't want him to be a freeloader who just sits at home and does nothing. And it's like, wait, I thought he was doing all this stuff. That takes a lot of effort and energy, but whatever. And you kind of are the asshole. He's also like rude for not saying something to you and not telling you what was going on, but like, you kind of are the asshole. But let me know what you thought about those stories. That's where this episode ends. I'm gonna go film a Patreon episode if you guys ever want to become a member of the Patreon. There is a link in my description, or you can go to patreon.com/storytimesociety. There's multiple different tiers to make it affordable for everyone. It's extra content. I post a Patreon episode every Saturday. It's just like an extended episode, and it's usually 20 minutes long. So every Saturday morning those get posted. Yeah. But I love you guys so much, and thank you so much for watching. I'll talk to you in the next episode. Bye! Love you guys so much. Thanks for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe.